So today we're going to take a deep dive into the point Kidney 1 in honor of the winter season and the water element. So kidneys, the kidneys and the bladder are part of the water element in Chinese medicine. And Kidney 1, I decided to do a class just on this point because even though it's not often needled in acupuncture, it is a really important point and can be activated in a number of other ways, including acupressure. And so first of all, where this point is located, if you're not familiar, is on the bottom of the foot. It's the only point on a major meridian that is on the bottom of the foot. So it has can have a really powerful grounding effect. And I will demonstrate with my own foot, particularly where it's located. So it's between, sorry about some sock fuzz. It's between the metatarsals, or the bones coming down from the second and third toes. So if you can press kind of deeply to palpate for those bones, and you're feeling for the space between those two bones, so they kind of start to form a V, and that's where it's located. So some people say if you flex the plantar foot, the bottom of the foot, or you curl the toes forward, can't really see there, it kind of forms a depression at that point. And for myself, I don't know that I really can see one there, but you can feel for it. So just, I would say to slide your finger down between the second and third toes, kind of coming off of the ball of the foot. And different traditions might locate it slightly differently, but really, as with any acupressure point, you're feeling for a tender spot. So you don't have to get super particular. Just palpate around, maybe using your knuckle to kind of more deeply apply pressure. You can kind of sit with your leg across your lap if that works for you, or have someone else do it. Try to get this point on you. So it's, some people say it's like 1/3 of the way down the foot. In some traditions, that's 1/3 of the way down the whole foot, starting at the toe. Some traditions say start at where the toes end and go 1/3 down. But so roughly around there is Kidney 1, Yang Chuan, or translated as bubbling spring. I've heard it translated as bubbling well. And it's a point that is often referred to in Qigong and Tai Chi practice. And so particularly rooting down through that point when you are standing in Qigong or Tai Chi practice, a point where we can root our Qi down into the earth and also draw Qi from the earth up. And I kind of like to think about it like we're a tree. So it is, and it's also, even though it's a water meridian, the kidney, it is the wood point on the water meridian. So each meridian has a point associated with one of the 5 elements. And so this point is the start of the kidney channel. It's the wood point. So there can also be a very like upward movement with this point. So just as we can ground down through it with our our chi roots. We can also draw resources and nutrients, so to speak, from the earth up through this point, just like a tree draws nutrients from the soil and moisture. So one way to activate this point is simply by drawing awareness to it. Particularly good opportunity when you're practicing Qigong or Tai Chi. So we'll do that later when we practice some Qigong. And so more specific uses of the point. So it can be very sedating, very calming. It can be good for, like, if you have you're really in your head a lot, you have a restless mind, trouble sleeping, it can help to calm your mind. And of course, soaking the feet is a good way to, as Dr. Wu always recommends, to get good sleep and benefit our health in general. So this is a good way to stimulate kidney 1. And of course, if you're soaking your feet, it's your whole foot is getting a nice treatment. And so if you've practiced that, you may have noticed that really helps you to relax, especially if you do it right before bed. Or massaging, you can just, if you don't have time to soak the feet, you can more gently massage that point, or your feet in general, to draw your chi down and ground and bring the energy down from your head, and where we usually tend to be in our mind a lot. At the same time, though, this point, when invigorated, it can be a very stimulating point to, as it's called, rescue yang. So this could look like reviving someone from consciousness if they have passed out from, or they're experiencing a stroke, or they experiencing a seizure or something like that they have lost consciousness. I guess there's even been research done stimulating this point. I'm not sure whether it was through acupuncture or acupressure with someone who was in a coma from, I believe, like a brain injury, that if that point was stimulated on the test group, they came back to consciousness more quickly than the group that did not receive that. So it can be a very stimulating point when used in a different way. So this is a helpful point for things like high blood pressure, menopausal symptoms like hot flashes, and, as I said before, restless mind, insomnia, all kind of heat or chi rising or yang rising to root it down. And or headaches, particularly at the crown of the head. Good for those sorts of conditions to sedate. On the other hand, if you want to, you might want to stimulate this point or invigorate it if you are experiencing like coldness, numbness, even paralysis of the lower limbs and the feet. And on an emotional level, if you're experiencing like emotional paralysis, afraid to take the next step, metaphorically, this can be a good jolt to give you courage to take a step forward. I remember hearing once, I don't know if this is true, that this point, kidney 1 was needled in like soldiers in China before they went into battle. So I always have that image in my mind as a potential use for kidney 1. Not that I'm seeing people about to go into battle, but metaphorically, if you need to give yourself kind of access your inner courage and your deep will, that is very much a resource of our kidneys, as it's seen in Chinese medicine. Also, for certain cases of impotence or infertility, the kidneys can be tied to reproductive health. So usually if it's someone dealing with those things from a deficiency or a depletion, that point when invigorated can be helpful for things like that. So as I said, you can simply apply acupressure to this point, finding that tender point and pressing and holding for a few seconds, even up to a minute, or you can kind of pulse it. You can use the pad of your thumb or your knuckle. You can more gently massage it if it's just like you kind of want to relax before bed. Another way that you might stimulate the point, if you know how and you have the tools for it, is moxibustion, the burning of processed mugwort, the herb. So that could be something that you can do for yourself for calming. Of course, you can also do the mugwort foot bath. You can also do that point to bring warmth to the lower body, and that's something that a practitioner can do as well, of course. Probably with a moxa stick, so holding it over the point and pulsing or like a pecking motion to bring warmth to that point. And in general, really good to keep the feet warm, especially in winter time, to keep our for our kidney health, but our health in general. Wearing good wool socks, perhaps, if you live in a cold climate, and soaking your feet in warm water at night. And especially, that's also good to keep the feet warm. Again, if you're dealing with trying to conceive, really make sure you keep your feet warm to support your kidney health and help to keep your womb warm. Even though it's your feet, really want to keep the whole body warm, and the feet often get neglected in that way. And although if you are pregnant, you may want to avoid strongly stimulating this point, as it can be a very chi descending point, right? So unless you're trying to promote labor, if you're pregnant, I would just express a little bit of caution with that. And and then this is also a good point to apply. You can apply herbal paste to it, so that can help with different conditions. I know Dr. Wu has talked about using his cold stomach powder on that point for different things, for even like respiratory illnesses. And so we won't get into like the specifics of that, but it is also used in that way. So, and then just a couple quotes I'm going to read about the point from my trusty Manual of Acupuncture. Quite a tome. So just about like this point and its uses, a little more context. So kidney water is the mother of liver wood. So like I was saying earlier, this is the wood point on a water channel, the kidney channel, of course. And so in the 5 elements, it's, if you view it in a circle, right, the element before is like the mother to the next element in the cycle. So water comes before wood, and just like you could think about the way that a tree, wood, draws water up through the soil to receive nourishment from it. So kidney water is the mother of liver wood, and the kidney yin is the origin and source of liver yin. When kidney water fails to nourish liver wood, the fierce and unrestrained yang of the liver rushes up to the head, giving rise to such symptoms as headache at the vertex, the crown of the head, dizziness, visual dizziness, cloudy vision, hypertension, and nosebleed. So a lot of those symptoms can kind of go together with high blood pressure, and then gushing nosebleeds sometimes can be also caused by that rushing, that liver yang rising is what it's called. So things like high blood pressure, heat in the face, just kind of like angry energy, like all caught up here. And if excess liver yang generates wind, there may even be wind stroke, or stroke as we call it, or epilepsy. So kidney 1 is able to regulate the kidneys, the root of these symptoms, and to treat the manifestations by strongly descending the pathological excess. And then another thing we didn't talk about actually is the relationship between the kidneys and the heart, and this point's influence on that. So there's something referred to as like the heart-kidney axis, and when the kidneys and heart are out of balance, it can lead to different symptoms. So the kidneys belong to water and the heart to fire, and the kidneys and the heart are said to mutually support each other. So water is the mother to wood, and then wood is actually the mother of fire. So fire and water kind of opposite to each other in the cycle of the 5 elements, and they have more of a regulatory role. Particularly the water element regulates the fire element, keeps it from blazing too much, and if the fire blazes too much, it can deplete the kidneys, the water. So the kidneys and heart are said to mutually support each other, the kidney yin nourishing and moistening heart yin and restraining heart fire, and heart yang descending to warm the kidneys. So the yin, the kidney yin, nourishes and moistens the heart fire, and the heart fire descends to keep the kidneys warm. Harmony between the kidneys and the heart is one of the prerequisites for a stable and peaceful spirit. So when kidney yin is deficient and deficiency fire of the heart blazes, or when the connection is broken and the kidneys and heart do not communicate, the spirit becomes agitated, leading to a wide variety of emotional disorders, ranging from relatively mild, so mild symptoms, agitation, insomnia, poor memory, to severe madness, rage. So like I was saying before, it is recommended for patients suffering from insomnia to massage kidney 1 on both feet before bedtime, or steep the feet in a bowl of hot water to draw down the excess yang. So there you have it. Our deep dive into kidney 1